Hey, my crafty friends. I am coming to you with a cold. So sorry, but sometimes we just have to press on. Um, Hopefully this cold will subside here soon and I can get back. But that's why my channel has been a bit quiet. As I got this cold, it went away. I went to go get caught up, and like 2 days later, it came back with like a vengeance. I have no idea. So I blame it on the weather. The weather has been absolutely crazy, right? Here in Michigan, it's been going from like 18, like yesterday it was 18 degrees, and I believe the high today is like 42. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so my head feels like it's in a vice grip. But anyways, moving on. Today, what we are doing is, I never did a flip through, I don't believe, of this summer stories book of 2021. It's done. It's been done for a very long time. I kind of did this when Allie Edwards was doing hers. I was pretty inspired. I loved doing it. It definitely sparked my love of like the TN size. But as you can see, it got extremely bulky. I've never figured out a way to bind it back. I had taken out the staples, of course, but as you can see, I just made it too bulky. It was my first one. I thought I was somewhat keeping it. No, I didn't. That's a lie. I knew I was making it too bulky. There's just too many flip outs, all that kind of stuff. So what we are going to do today is, a long time ago, I had ordered these Life Crafted Citrus Twist albums for my boys to have their own albums in these, but I have recently switched them over to 6x8. I didn't like that I couldn't do bigger size photos, so I switched them over to 6x8. So I have 2 of these laying around, though I would like them to be brighter. I'm not gonna I have no idea what I'm gonna use these for at this point. So what we're gonna do is we are going to do a flip through, and as we're doing a flip through, I'm gonna show you how I'm going to transition this into this, this setup. Am I gonna put holes in things? Most likely. We're gonna work around it. But yeah, so let's do a little mini flip through of this and show you how I'm gonna pretty much break this down and put it into a citrus twist album. So most of it I think I'm gonna keep out of the page protectors, but I am going to this was a part of the story, so I'm gonna literally chop this right down the middle and put it directly into my album. And just kind of do it like that, trying to keep in mind different things like where, if holes are gonna go. Yeah, I think for the most part I missed it. So, and that way it still starts out with my cover, because I loved that cover, but oh no, sometimes this gets off. Dang it. Well, at least I didn't do too many. No, off just a smidge. All right, so I need, sometimes my paper, so you could like move these inside to be different, and sometimes they get moved. I don't know how, but they do. There we go. Perfect. That's all we gotta do sometimes. All right. So that was the first page. That first page is just of my peonies, and it's just what makes my summer so much. This was just a pull out. Oh, and I did put a little story. I said, I thought this would be a fun way to capture all of the big and the little stories of summer of 2021. We will see what the summer brings, and hoping a lot of normal stuff, because obviously this was like the first summer, after the craziness. Here's to a lot of baseball and small family trips to make a lot of memories. So I knew that this we had a lot of small, quick family trips and some bigger ones. So I knew, like, coming out of, obviously, the pandemic, so I knew I just wanted to capture it. But I loved this paper, and I just did some stamping, monochromatic stamping, or yeah, that's what I guess I would call it, to do that. And I loved how that turned out. So now, with obviously these type of things, there is one page here and one page there. Oh, that's not what I want. So you're just gonna keep out. So what you're gonna need, obviously, is a paper trimmer and a hole punch. So the next one was our bucket list, summer bucket list. And I think we accomplished most of it, other than, oh, that was silly of me. I didn't know that was ripping. Summer bucket list. This was one that I copied kind of from Ellie Edwards. And I think we did everything but more family gatherings in the backyard. So next up, oh yeah, it's on the back of this one. Next up was a trip that we made on Memorial Day weekend. My husband's father is buried in a veterans memorial, and so we went there on Memorial Day to do all the flags, and it was the first time we've ever been able to do that, so, and take our boys. So because most of the time my husband has to work and all that kind of stuff, so just documented that. I thought that that was pretty neat. Next is a spread on my happy place during the summer and how, like, every year it gets better and better. And this was just a picture of it at the beginning. It's our backyard, our back deck. And yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Of course, you need the sprinkler in the summer, so definitely, like, taking in the last few moments where my youngest is still loving the sprinkler and all that kind of stuff. This is a Studio Calico paper with some thickers. I love how simple it, and then obviously some sun embellishments and everything. So from Ellie Edwards. I did try to keep these as simple as I could possibly keep them. I didn't want to spend a ton of time on them, so you know, again, another Studio Calico. This was the last day of school, which I feel like definitely sets off the, you know, whole summer ordeal. But yeah, just a picture of that. Every year I used to try and take the my nephews and my niece and my sons out to play a game of putt-putt. So we did that. So this will be one, you know, one of those spreads that is just inevitably going to get cut. Like this picture, it won't work. It is okay. It's not the end of the world. This was one of our bigger, no, this was one of the smaller ones. This is a trip up to Petoskey in Michigan for Father's Day weekend. And it is tradition after the baseball tournament to go and jump off the pier into Lake Michigan. I think Lake Michigan. Anyways, whatever. I think it's Lake Michigan, and it's freezing, especially in the beginning of June. So that is that. I loved the side picture to get all of them jumping off. Definitely was a good moment. This is still Petoskey. This is just us doing our thing afterwards and just a few pictures. Never did the journaling. Oh, I need to go back and do that. Next up is 4th of July. Fortunately, my husband wasn't able to go with us because he was just with us the weekend before. And us just up north, taking in the scenes of 4th of July. more camping adventures, I believe this is still 4th of July weekend, just more camping adventures, because I always have tons of pictures from this, but this was definitely scrap lifted from somebody, I don't know what it was, but I kind of did the numbers, and then it looks like I only put numbers on a couple of them, but yeah, definitely just more of this. So I loved how that kind of turned out. Back to baseball, of course. I kind of did a play on words that both of my boys were in the same tournament at the same fields, and I was able to watch both boys play. They both got second place. My oldest was super happy with second place, and my youngest was super mad about second place. That was the last time until this year that they were on the same organization. But they are back to being on the same organization this year, so that's fun. But yeah, this is just a pull out to, oh, I didn't do the journaling there. This was one thing that I was really happy with, like how it turned out. I used the paper person stamps, and one kid was happy, one was feeling sad, and I loved how that kind of turned out to kind of tell the story also. Next up was the big trip of the summer, which is going to Kentucky for my son's first like week-long tournament in Elizabethtown. It's called the Young World Series. So I just did like a little sprinkle down the page with a picture of him by that sign. Then while we were down there, we went to Hurricane Bay, which is a water park. Didn't get tons of pictures because obviously it's a water park. I put my phone away. But just a few of that, because eventually, hopefully, I will get to a whole album of this trip. Haven't got there yet, and it's almost 2 years later. I will. And now I've got a whole other week-long tournament that I need to do. This is 2 spreads, actually. So this one is just about my plant finally blooming. I'm glad I captured that because that plant didn't come back the next year, unfortunately. So it was fun. I was so excited that it actually bloomed. And then this is a spread about my son going to the food trucks, which is one of our summer favorite things to do. And he got a funnel cake, and he absolutely loves those things. So that was a fun spread. This was definitely inspired by Heba. I must have made a mistake. I thought I had done more spreads. This must have been a mistake somehow in the midst of all of this. And I don't think I can even change it when I put it in the album. Because this must have been a mistake. Because this is part of that trip. While we were in Kentucky, we went to the Louisville Slugger Museum, which was definitely a lot of fun. And I have our tickets to it. And on each ticket, there is a picture. So that was a super fun experience. My son still remembers actually going to that one. So just a big picture of my son and my husband down there in front of the big. All right, so now we're out of that trip. Next thing we love to also do is go to the end of the summer beach, and they like to go to this inflatable water park pretty much, and that's one of their big fun things. Again, another picture that's definitely gonna get cut in half, and we'll see how that goes with those holes. Next small weekend trip is we ran down to Cincinnati with my husband's family. I was definitely like trying to use some of my stash here. This was a stash from, I think, Studio Calico, like that I had bought, but this was the Riverwalk, just a quick collage, and then a pocket with some journaling and another picture of us that I made, like a little pocket in here. I totally forget about what I did in this album. And I really loved this album and how it came out. That same thing was, we went to the Cincinnati Zoo. I put in there that it was like 104 that day. There was a huge heat wave. So it wasn't the most pleasant experience, but we love the zoo and we got the best of it. And then the last picture of this album, which, because this was kind of like the last of, it was August, and then we went back to school a couple days later. There's a big picture of my family in front of this wall, with a pull-out that just sums up everything about the summer. It says, wow, can't believe the summer is already coming to an end. This project has been fun, and we have definitely had a full summer with a ton of stories that I can't even fill, that I can even fill in this notebook. So glad this summer could fill our time with trips and family, and those sure couldn't be there every time. We are hoping for a lot more next year. And while we are going to hang up our swimsuits and flip-flops, we have several months of the year left, and here comes the holidays. Goodbye for now, summer. So, a lot of paper person, it looks like. Lots of paper person stuff, because I was probably trying to get rid of it. And lots of Studio Calico stuff. So, definitely a good one. All right, so I figured it was going to be a little too hard. I'm going to kind of go off and start punching all of this and getting it into this album while I put you on a fast forward. Okay, so as you've seen, I struggled. I started struggling a ton. I have not been able to get some of these in here with my hole punch. Like things like that obviously was not put there for, you know, punches. There's just spreads on here that are way too thick, unfortunately. So, I'm gonna work with some of these and try and punch them still. Probably when I'm feeling better, honestly. Because I feel like this could be punched. I just haven't punched it with my, there's some of them that could just be punched with my hand punch. But again, like I said, right now I'm not feeling the best, so I'm not trying to do all of that. Some of these like this, unfortunately, I think what I'm gonna have to do is put them on acetate holder, like acetate, you know, whatever those things are called. Inserts, there we go. And yeah, they're gonna stick out more than the other pages. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not gonna worry about it, and it's probably not gonna take away from too much. The biggest thing is I'm gonna have to figure out if I can like still shimmy. Yeah, see, like that's gonna be my biggest thing, is like how am I going to do the acetate, because I can't no longer shimmy them in between the pages, you know. So that's a bummer. I might have to just staple the acetate to it, but I'm gonna figure it out. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But I think that's pretty much what it's gonna be. This is still going to be a better, I mean, even if I have to do the acetate thing, it's still gonna be a better solution than having that TN like so freaking bulky and falling apart everywhere. So thank you guys so much for being here. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, I'll show you how big it's gonna be. Let's see, still. So it's still gonna fit. It'll be chunky, but not that chunky. Never try and put a Color Kiss design piece in your TN. Doesn't work. Talk to you guys soon.